Studio1, and we're going to check out all the different ways to update the things on this site. So you start by going to the address /wp-admin. And that's where you'll go to log in, and then it'll take you here, put in your username or email and your password, and then this will take you to the back end of the website, which looks like this. And this stuff that you want to know how to use is all here in the left. This isn't important as much over here, but everything on the left, I'm just going to go down through almost all of these, the ones that you need to know and the ones that will be helpful. We'll go down through them and we'll talk about how they're used, and I'll try to help you make sense of what elements are used on your website. So we're at home here. There are sometimes updates that need to happen where you update plugins. We do that for you every 2 to 3 weeks. So you don't have to worry about that, but you're welcome to update them. I'm not going to do that now for the sake of time, but that's what that is. Posts would be like if you use a blog, which you're currently not using, so we don't have anything to talk about there. Media is where all of your media that is on the site are located. So all these photos and graphics and images are located in your media library. So you can look at them here, but usually within each page or within each element that you're working on, you'll have access to the media library. So usually you don't need access to it here, but that's where it is. Moving down the line, we'll go to forms. You have one form right now, so we'll look at that. This is how it's built, is just name, email, and whatever you want your message to be. So it looks like you've probably got it here. Yeah, so very simple. You might not need to know a whole lot more. You might not want to add anything extra, but the fields that you can add are over here. So you can add name, date, time. You click on it, and then it's going to show up down here. I don't know why you would want time, or if you just want an extra line for something else. So then you click on it, and then you can edit what this says, and then that'll show up like that. And if you want to rearrange the elements, all you have to do is drag them where you want them, but probably not going to need to do that. If you want to get rid of it, just click on the little X there and then hit update form, but we're not updating it or changing it. And you can look at the entries that you have here. So these would be where all of your entries are located. And it looks like most of these are unread, but this is how you would get to them. So it's got their name, their email, and their message. So that's how you can find them, is through there. In settings, you'll get a notification. Right now it's just sending a notification to the admin of the website saying that you've got a new submission, and it sends all the fields. So if you're not an admin, then it's just sending it to us still probably, but we'll get down there and we'll look and make sure that you're an admin. And but that's the basic function of how forms work, and you've just got the one, so I think that's probably enough information to help you there. Pages is next. And on your site, we're going to get to it. It's called homepage areas. So each of these areas on the homepage are their own thing. So your menu doesn't necessarily take you to different pages. It takes you to different parts of the homepage. But I believe you do have a page for policies. Yeah. So let's take a look. Pages works. These work pretty much like any word processing program that you have seen before. So right now you've got your different information and then different headers. So you can change. This is currently heading 2. If you wanted to make it bigger, you can make it heading 1. If you wanted to make it smaller, make it heading 3. You can bold it or put it in italics. Can make a bulleted list or a numbered list. You can align it to the center or to the right. You can add a hyperlink, and you can link to an external site if you wanted to. And then now that would add your link right there. You can add your contact form within here. So I can come in here, add a form. I don't want to display the title or the description, but I do want to put my contact form in here. Well, you can do that. Right now it's set up in a hyperlink. I messed the way that it looks up. But essentially you can add a form the way I just did. Let's put this back. We don't really want that. Don't want it in bold or italics. We want it like that. So that's mainly the things that you've got to know about pages. If you want to add a new page, you can add it by just adding a new page, giving it a title, and putting information on it. But if you just want to change the wording of something, just come in here, change it, and then click update, and you can come over here and refresh it, and it should look right. So that's the main things you need to know about pages. You can add pictures. One of your pictures, you can add it right there within your post, and then you can align it how you want it. Can edit it and make it bigger, or you can get rid of it and just have it the way that you wanted. I think those would probably be the main things that you need to know for pages. And then again, just come in here and click update, and then it'll update it. Next thing that you need to know about is FooGallery. I don't want to save my changes. And you have galleries on your home page here in 2 places, with the staff, I believe, and down here. So, or maybe not with the staff. I'm not sure. I'll look. So this is your gallery, and this has all your photos in it. You can rearrange them if you want, just by dragging them wherever you want to put them. You can add more. So I could add whichever photos I want and then add that media, and it'll add it. Don't want to do that right now. And then you can change the height of the photos if you wanted to change that in there. And there's probably not a lot of other things that you're going to want to change on here, but you can. But that would be the main thing, is if you just want to, you can get rid of the image by clicking the X, or you can add new photos and then you can rearrange them. Let's see what the other gallery is. Products, I think, maybe. Yeah, so this is where you've got your products on your homepage down here. And so it would work the same way. You could add a picture, and if you wanted to upload files, just come in here and select your files, whichever files you wanted, and bring them in there, and then they'll be in your library, and you can choose those. And then you would come over here and click update. And then it's important to know that this is the way that you would implement the gallery if you wanted to put it someplace, or if you ever create a new one, is to use this short code, and then that's going to be copied and pasted. So if you ever wanted to create a new gallery, you could do that, and you could see what template is being used on this one, and you could just duplicate it if you wanted to create a new one, or like I said, just continue to add elements here. And then the short code is over here, and that'll come into play later, and I'll show you where we've used that. But again, I think that's the main things you need to know, And if you wanted to add a gallery, that would be right here. So moving on to homepage areas, this is what I was mentioning earlier, are these different areas on the homepage. So they're not in the right order here. They're not in the order that they are on the page there. But when you click on reorder, this is the right order. But if you ever wanted to change them, all it is dragging them and it will change it for you. So let's go back here. For your main slider, which is this element here, we have short code here for revolution slider, which I'll show you when we get down here. So that's all that there is on that slide. Then the next one is staff. So we've got pictures in here. So we'll click on this little button here that says edit. And I can click on each individual photo, and this is how it's set up. So there's a little bit of code there so that I'm guessing so that the name is in a different, it's in a different font than that. So then the title of the person, of the individual. So you could always just copy and paste this if you needed to add a new person. Add to gallery. You'd click the photo of whatever person you're wanting to add, and then you could just always copy and paste this and then just change out the name and their title. And then you could drag and drop to reorder. So it works the same way. Just drag and drop it to reorder everyone there. And then you would click update gallery, and then you would click update over here. So again, it's just making sure that you've got the gallery highlighted, and then you click the little pencil, and that'll help you update it. So that's your staff homepage area. Then come down to services. That's probably just that's just got your services typed up right in here, like I showed you on how Pages works, just like a word processor. So you could always come in here and edit this. If you change your prices, you can come in here and edit it and then click update. Then all of these are just in different sizes over here. And this looks like it is linked to your services page. So when you click on for a complete list of services, then it takes you to a page that has all of your services, which that would be under Pages. Or if you're logged in, you can always just click edit here. But that would be under your services, is under Pages. And then you would come in here, and that's where you would edit that. So back to homepage areas, services, and like I said, that's hyperlinked. And you do that by highlighting the text and then clicking insert edit link. And you can choose options from one of your pages that you have here, or you can add whatever. If you're looking for an external website, you just type in the URL right there, and then you click update. I believe we have gallery, products, hair care tips. Okay. So I believe we changed it from a before and after page to this gallery. And so the way you would add that is through, we talked about FooGallery up here with those pictures. You would add FooGallery, and then you'd choose which one you wanted to insert. There's the short code, but you can always just click it from the page, and then that's how that one's added. And you don't have any extra information there, so we don't have to add anything. It's just the gallery, and it works fine. And then products is also a gallery in the same, added the same way through this button here. Hair care tips. This is just, we have embedded YouTube videos into the page and then put them in columns. So this shortcode allows them to be in columns. And if you go to YouTube and find a different video that you want, all you have to do is find the embed link and copy and paste it here. So if you wanted a different video, you could always go to this side of, this is how it appears on the page. And then this is like the short code. This is, or the code of the site. And so this is the embed code from the YouTube video. So if you wanted to replace it, you could just replace it right there. And you could always ask if you needed help with that. But that would be the main way that page works. And you could always add a new homepage area if you wanted to. Just give it a title, format it how you want. Then you're going to want to come down here and click yes on padding, and then that should be all you need to do, and then publish it. It's probably going to show up at the top of the page would be my guess. So then I refresh. And then there it is. That's the area I just created. So that's pretty simple. You could just add whatever text you wanted. And then, like I said, come over here to reorder the categories so that you could take new styles and put it at the bottom or in the middle or wherever you wanted it. But I'm going to delete that because you don't want it. But always when you put things in the trash like that, you can either restore it and it will come back and you haven't lost it forever, or you can delete it permanently, which I'm going to do because we don't need it. Coming down more, let's move on to in appearance. You've got two things over here that you need to think about, which are widgets and menus. Widgets are what affect the top here and then what's in the bottom, like your hours of operation. So in the top, you've got your logo and your menu. And then in the footer, we've got your contact us form. So that's your contact us. And then we've got your address. So if the phone number changes or anything, this is where it's located in footer. And then you can just change it like you would change anything on pages or homepage areas. And you can add you can add the FooGallery or media. You can add that all through here. And then that's your, I believe that's your map right here. That's what that is. And then got your form over here. So you add all these things from over here. So if I wanted to add a form, then I choose where I want to add it, to the footer over here. And then I'd choose which, you only have one form to choose from, and then I'd hit save. And you can reorder these items through here, which we don't want that, so I'm getting rid of that. And you can add, and then this is where your hours of operation are, just so that you know. If any of these pieces of information change, your hours change, you can always change that in there in your footer. So those are the main things you need to know. And adding things over here, custom menu, probably not going to need to add that, but that's one thing that we have over here, like the menu at the top. That's where that's added. You can add an image, you can add text, you can add a map. Those are the things that you're mainly using, but the things that you'll probably need to update are possibly the form, possibly this text. We are using Visual Editor here, and you might need to update some of that, and that's where you can come in, and then you would just hit save, and then you would be done. So when you click on the item, it'll just ask you where you want to put it, and then you add the widget. That's the main thing you need to know there. Let's move on to menus. So like I said earlier, your menus are, all of these menu items are linked to just a part of your page. So there is code within the homepage areas that allow us to tag stylists, and then that takes you directly to that part of that page. So that involves code. So if you add a new homepage area and you need to add a menu item so that you can have a menu item to take you to that new area, that would take a little bit more work, but right now this is how these are set up. If you wanted to reorder them, you can always change them. You can make them a sub menu item if you don't like the way it is. And then for policies, this is linked to a particular page. It's not linked to your homepage because that's its own page. So if you wanted to add if you wanted to add a different page, you can just click it, add it to the menu, and it's going to show up. And I can change what it's labeled as. If I wanted it to be, then I can change that, or I can remove it, which we're doing since we don't need it. You can add a custom link by putting a URL here and then adding whatever text you wanted here. And then it's going to show up over here, and then it's going to show up on the menu. But again, if you add a menu item, these will change. They won't look the same because you're going to have to make space for those. So that's just something to think about. But this is where your menu is located if you ever want to change the order or change the title of these. This is where you'd come in, and you can always change what it's called right there. And then you would just click Save Menu. That's all you need to know there. Plugins, those are what make your website. If you want to do more things with your website, you can add new plugins. Let's talk about users. Okay, you do have an admin here. So this is where your login is, and then this is where you would come in and you could change your password if you wanted to. Under users. So I guess maybe we need to set you up as an administrator instead of just an editor. That might be why you haven't been getting some of those entries on your website, but we'll take care of that, and we'll make sure that gets all set up. Then a lot of these things are things that you're not going to want to worry about or need to know about. I don't think you need these. Slider Revolution is one thing that we are using currently. It's what makes this slide right here at the top of your page. So you'll click on this slide because this is your main slider that you're using. And how it works right now is, this is the only one that has an extra element. I believe all these other ones just have pictures. So if you wanted to add a new slide, see how these are all zooming out like that? You can set that up on your own. So you can add a new slide, add a blank slide, and I can come in here and get a main background image. That's what I want to use. I want to add a picture. So I would like to use this picture. Well, that one's probably not a good one since it's a vertical. A lot of these are vertical pictures, which makes sense. But horizontal pictures are going to be what works better. And we've already used this one, but just for the sake of example. So then you've got your picture in here. But what makes that do the zoom is called Ken Burns. And you're going to want to turn that on, and you're going to change this number 100 to 110, or you can play around with it and hit save. You can hit save and then preview it here and see what it looks like. So that's zooming in instead of zooming out. So if you wanted to zoom out, then I could do it like this. And then there's a little button here, and it'll show you kind of what it looks like. Or it should, but you can always hit the preview button here. And then if you want to change the position of the photo so that it's you can see a different part better, that would be done through right there. And then you'd hit save. And you can add text by coming in here, add a layer, text. And then I can change the font to whatever font I want. Can always go to Google Fonts and check out what they have. Change the font size. And then you want to change the line height size, these lines here. I want to center it both directions. Those things are all really important. You can change the weight, make it smaller or bigger. And you can add animation, so I can make it slide in or slide up, and then I can change how fast or slow that happens down here, or how long it takes. This would be how long it takes and how long you can. There you go. So I can just push play and that shows you what it would look like. And you're not really utilizing any of these elements, but I'm just letting you know how they would work, just so in case you ever did want to. And then you need to hit save. And then you need to come over here into each screen size and change it, so that you're going to have to change the, so I'm on the animation, and I need to come back here to style. I need to change the size of this so that it fits. Because and then you're going to have to save it on each screen size so that your slide is mobile responsive, so that when somebody gets on their phone and sees your site, they can read all the words. So if you ever want to change it, you can always do that. If you want to come up here and you don't want to use one of these slides just temporarily, you can click on this button and that'll make it no longer visible, but it doesn't delete it, so it's still there if you want to bring it back later. If you have like a special on a product or something like that. And you can always also, if some of these things don't make sense or you aren't sure what to do or how you want it to look, you can always just click duplicate on whichever slide and then come in here to this slide. And I want to go to my main background, and then I want to change the picture, but I want everything to be the same. So I wanted everything to be the same. I just wanted to change the picture. Then I can click save. And then you don't have to worry about adding different elements. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these two. So those are the main functions that you're going to want. You can always add an image if you want to add a separate image over the top, or you can, and then you can come in here and see what layers you have. So for instance, on this particular slide, there's an extra layer. There's some text, but that's actually saved as an image, and come in here and see what layers you have, and then you can edit them. So you've got the little thing in the background, and then you've got the words there. So you can always you can come in here and edit those words by clicking on the little pencil and saying your lifestyle. So that would be how you could change these things if you wanted to change those things. And for each slide, so all sliders, they're gonna have a short code, which is gonna be in slider settings right here, and that's where you would copy and paste it. So if you ever made a new slideshow, then you would copy and paste that shortcode into the page where you wanted to use it. Again, probably not going to do that, but those are just the main functions for you. And then the last thing that we will talk about is WP Google Map, because you do have a map here at the bottom. And if you ever add let's say you add a second location, or you need to do something else, what you're going to want to do is manage maps. Right now you have a map right here, and we've got it all set up so that it's zoomed in right, so that it's the right height and width and looks good. And then there's your short code. But if you wanted to add a location, then you'd come in here to add location. You'd enter the title and the address, and then it usually, if you enter in an accurate address, it'll fill in the rest of this. And then you'll come down here and add save location. You can click salon, save location, and then you're going to come back to manage maps. You would edit this map that you already have, and then there would be a second location here, and you could click it, and then you would hit save map, and then you would have two little buttons on here. But probably not anything you're going to need to change there, but that would be how you would add a second location if you needed to. And I think that's it. And if you ever change locations, then you would just come in here and edit this, and you could change the address same way that you hit edit and then come in here and change the address. And those are the main things. So if you have any other questions, you can always get in contact with us, but hopefully this is helpful and gets you started looking at the basic things that you might need to change. Again, if you ever need anything else or need help with something that I missed or didn't have on here, you can always get in contact with us. So hopefully that was helpful.